Hi, my name is Zulema Townsend. I'm an associate in the Environment and Climate Law Group here at A&O Shearman, and I'm about to talk about some of the key kind of supply chain regulations that companies should be aware of at the moment. So in recent years, we've seen a steady increase in regulatory development aimed at enhancing corporate transparency and accountability, particularly as regards sustainability. We've seen supply chain impacts continue to be a key focus in a number of these regulations, particularly in the corporate reporting space, supply chain due diligence, and in the product stewardship space. So in the corporate reporting space, what we've really seen is a shift from a voluntary reporting framework to more mandatory reporting frameworks, whereby companies in scope of these regulations are actually expected to report quite extensively on granular information as regards sustainability, risks and opportunities facing the business, including impacts on the supply chain. A couple of examples here are the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, which is a regulation and directive at the EU, and the introduction of the International Sustainability Standards Board standards, which really created a global baseline of sustainability disclosures and are being transposed into domestic law in a number of jurisdictions around the world. We've also started to see a direction of travel, particularly in the EU, of the introduction of mandatory supply chain due diligence obligations for companies, with a particular focus on human rights and environmental impacts. Most notably is the Corporate Sustainability Due Diligence Directive in the EU, which introduces mandatory human rights and environmental due diligence obligations on companies, and also expects companies to actually act and take action with respect to identified adverse impacts, addressing and mitigating those impacts even within their supply chains. And lastly, what we've seen is a broad EU agenda really tackling global supply chains in the product stewardship space. Some of these regulations of the EU include the forced labour regulation, the conflicts minerals regulation, and also the deforestation regulation, which at a high level really kind of may expose various actors within the supply chain to potential liability for the products they place on the EU market, where those products may not, and their component parts, may not have been sustainably sourced.